Rich.
Present.
Mr. Venable.
Present.
Ms. Gilbert. Present. Mr. Sis.
Present.
And the chairman is here also.
We'll have our prayer by Mr. Porter, President Legis by Mr. Venable.
Let's pray together. God our Father in heaven, we look around us every day, and with a beautiful place we have to live and beautiful people we have to work with and to administer to serve. So we're thankful for these blessings. We're thankful for all that you do for us and do for this county. We pray for these men and women who have chosen to represent us at the local level. We pray for wisdom and discernment and compassion in the decisions they make, and that their decisions will be good for the people of Jackson County. Watch over them and their families. Guide them and direct them. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If everybody's had a chance to look over our agenda items, there's no changes or anybody wants to add anything to it, make a motion to approve the agenda.
I make the motion.
Got a motion?
Did we add that, do we need to add that to it tonight or by the board?
Yeah, we can, since it's already, we can just put it on next meeting. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed. We have no awards presentations. We got one person for public comment. That's Mr. McAllister.
Thanks, sir. Well, I was curious about is the absentee ballot on the special 4-mil hospital taxation that was held August 8th, 1950, where we're seeing 4-mil of the real estate tax and 4-mil of the ad valorem tax to the hospital over here. I'm no lawyer by no means, but I read through this, and there's certain cases the election could be had for this to work, for the 4-mil to go to the hospital. It said if you had 50,000 people or less that it was legal to do that. According to the last census that we had 53,000 people in Jackson County in the 2010 census. So how does that affect the legality of this if it was allowed for 50,000 or less? Now that we've got more than 50,000, is it still legal for 4-mil of our ad valorem tax and 4-mil of our real estate tax to still be going to the hospital? It simply says right here, and you have a copy of it on your desk there. Let's see where it says about the population of less than 50,000 according to the last federal decennial census on the question 11 on Act number 105 and Act. Second page on mine. Basically, what I was wanting to know is since we've got more than 50,000 people, is it still legal for us to be doing that? The way I read it, it says if you got less than 50,000, it was legal to do it. So what happens when you have more than 50,000?
Give Mr. Porter time to read it. Let's see. Mr. Arnold, you got anything you want to add?
I'm sorry. Where is this the commission? Where are the wrestlers getting recognized? I heard it.
I'm not sure.
I heard today that the wrestlers were getting recognized at 4:30. The commission. My cop told me to come in here and ask you guys.
Nah, I'm not aware of it.
All right. Well,
Would it be the city council?
I think it's the city council.
City council.
Yeah, the city council. Across the corner over there.
Okay.
Meet at 6.
Sorry.
So,
Mr. Chairman, I haven't had a chance to really look at this, but the short answer would be that the population requirement was at the time the election occurred, not today. So if we had 50,000 at the time the election occurred, then it would have been valid at that time.
So now that we've got more than 50,000, it says less than 50,000, not 50,000. It says less than 50,000. Now that we've got more than 50,000, is it still valid or legal for us to do that?
But again, just as I said a second ago, we haven't had a chance to look at it in full, but the 50,000 applied at the time the election occurred. So even if we had 100,000, that wouldn't make any difference. As long as there was 50,000 left at the time the election occurred.
All right, so my next question is, how do we get away from the $4 million going to the hospital and on each one of them? I mean, we've been paying for 70 years and this is what we've got down here. Just to be honest with you, I'm not real satisfied with what we have, but I guess it beats nothing. How do we get away from that?
That's something you'd have to talk to the legislative delegation about. We don't have any authority on it.
Nobody can.
The legislative delegation could
legislative.
take action on it, but we don't have that authority.
So the 50,000 has nothing to do with it, basically.
I don't think so. Based on what I quickly read just a minute ago, it's just, that was the number that you had. You had to have less than that to be able to vote at the time, and we had obviously less than that in
Right.
1962. So.
1950.
Yeah, and then again 62, yeah.
Basically, the 50,000 before has controlled the 100,000 now, is what you're saying. I think.
So we'll move on to our discussion items. Number one be the COA grant application. Sir.
If you don't mind, I'll stay seated.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do any of you have any questions about these letters? This is what we do each year to apply for the grant application with ALDOT for our transportation program. There's a designation letter as well as a letter and a resolution for local matching funds. And then there's an authorizing resolution for the whole application. And this has to go in, it's about a month from now. And wanted to go ahead and get it started and not wait till, the last meeting time before then. If we can get this, if I can answer any of your questions, or we can get this approved maybe at the next meeting, then we can go ahead and get that application in, and they can be working on ours early this time.
Yeah. This is the same thing we do every year.
Right.
Does anybody have any questions for this thing?
The local matching funds, is that something we wanted to budget?
Yeah, it's something that that's something we budget every year, but we're gonna have to, we have to send it in because it always goes in before our budget. We may have to make adjustments.
Okay, we can make adjustments.
Yeah, at that time.
Okay, that's the
Right now, we
question.
just send it in as it is. Any more questions? If not, we'll move that to, our next meeting will be on June 4th. We'll move that to the June 4th meeting. Next be a sanitation truck needs.
Yes, sir, thank you. In your packets, I put a letter in there to request to send out bids and purchase of some new pickup trucks, half tons and 3/4 tons. What I'm gonna do is send out bids and receive them back in, and then at that time, make a decision if we're going to bid local or, just go with the state bid. But as you can see at the bottom of the letter there is, we get the trucks we have out there, very old, high mileage, and we are starting to do a lot more jobs out there and in need of pickup trucks, really bad. These right here are basically worn pretty much. So if y'all wouldn't mind, I would like to send out bids on some half tons and 3/4 tons, receive those back in, review them, and then we'll bring it back to the meeting and approve if we're going to purchase or not.
Okay. Does anybody got any questions? Daryl? Okay, we'll move it to, do you think you'll have them in by June 4th meeting?
Should have. We'll get started on it tomorrow. I've got the bids typed up pretty well, so we'll get started tomorrow, and I'll let you know here in the next day or so, but should.
Okay.
There'll be 4 of them.
4. I'd like to replace the 4 you see on the bottom there.
Are you going back, something like you got, 2-wheel drive on
couple of them.
Well, probably four-wheel drives, because with, I'd like to start selling these trucks a little more often, not wear them out so bad. And if we do the four-wheel drives, they just bring more money when we do put them up for sale.
And we need to start doing it, other counties are, and we'd be in a lot better position if we start, make sure we get them back in the resale. All right, anything else? Next will be the dumping site cameras. I just wanted to put that on there. Ross will have our information by our next meeting on cost, to see if there's anything else anybody's like to talk about that, but we need to go ahead and get those voted on to see if we're going to put some up.
How many sites are we looking
I thought we talked about two cameras.
Yeah.
And move them around.
at? Okay.
Maybe put up some signage that the cameras are in use, and that might deter people from dumping.
I've noticed there's several dump sites, even one up, 33 there. If you notice there's some washing machines dumped off the side of the road. It's getting worse.
I've talked to Mr. Campbell with our road department about, he's willing to give us a hand on putting those up, when we get them, so.
Really, the biggest determining factor of cost is the distance at which it can pick up someone. So the further away the camera has to be, the better the camera, the more it's going to cost. So just think about that.
So we're looking at probably needing something more around 100 feet, 75 feet, by the time he goes up and.
Are these gonna be like a wildlife camera? Is that what you're looking at?
In a way, that'd be your cheaper.
Cheaper route.
Yep. You're looking at some, those usually can only pick up 20-ish yards. It can see further, but as for recording and storing it, you know, something has to trigger it to start recording, and those only pick up things around, 60 plus feet, 20 yards. You start getting into industrial security cameras that can pick things up 100 plus feet, like you were talking, and start getting a little.
Looked at, Ross, do they have to have a cell phone signal?
They do. We would have to add that to a cellular contract, about 1 gig per camera per month, which is not that bad with AT&T. We can get it with a package deal with some cellular phones that we already have, so that wouldn't be the expense. The expense would be the upfront camera purchase.
We just bought one. I think we'll be well served. Put it at some of these sites that are continuously used as an illegal dump, and maybe cut down on some of it. That mobile, we can move it around.
Mm-hmm.
We have several sites across the county.
Especially the one coming out of Madison County, there at the old gas
It's
station.
getting better and
It's
better.
been added to lately.
Yeah.
You can just about have a furnished whole house with everything that's there now.
What is the violation fee on dumping right now? Anyone know?
$500, up to $500, depending on the judge. It's up to $500 for depends on that.
I think we probably need two, would be my suggestion. And these also has Wi-Fi, and because if we go with the still cameras or the cheaper version, then we're not gonna be able to notify the sheriff's department when it's happening. And that's the thing, is key, is we need to be able to notify the sheriff's department when somebody's dumping, whether we can act on it.
And you also sort of have evidence of that, but if somebody were to destroy your camera, that picture's already been sent, so you've got
It's a good
idea who did it.
Could it would send the notification to somebody's cell phone or?
Depends on what you get, yes, there's several options there.
Everything will be stored off-site, so if someone were to come destroy it, it would show them destroying it. It would be saved somewhere else.
Yeah. I think the bad as the problem is, we need to.
Yeah, I agree. All right, if everybody's good, we'll put that on June 4th.
One other question, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
What is the legal thing that we have to be so many feet off somebody's property, or how is that?
Be in the right of way.
Right of way?
On public property.
So like the site down at Madison County and Jackson County line, with this county road going up to there.
You'd have to be on the state right of way.
Yeah, just within the right of way, I don't think it'll be a problem. Hole or something.
Well, that's state and county leads up there. All right, thank you.
All right, next, be our EA2 position at Public Works. Mr. Campbell.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. In your file, police fund, the letter dated May 20th, 2019, today's date. That letter, that's the results of an interview process that was conducted today, and that selection is represented on that. To give you a little bit of a backstory, as you recall, the EA3 position became vacant when that employee accepted a position here at the courthouse. Then an EA3 advertisement was held, and we received no qualified candidates. Bridge inspection certification was basically a requirement that we were in need of. And so no applicants for that led to this advertisement and this process that occurred. And this letter is the result of that process.
If nobody has any objections, we'll put that on also on the June 4th meeting. Next is the budget issues. We've got some trying times coming up. We're going to have to make some hard decisions. Put this on here just kind of keep it on everybody's mind. I have set up a meeting time for the 29th for this month at 10 a.m. To have like a pre-budget hearing, so that way everybody knows when it is. Does anybody got any comments on our budget issues?
What day is the 29th on?
So
Wednesday. Wednesday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Put it on the calendar, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit, he will say. I'm sorry, Mr. Sales, what'd you say?
I said, I don't know if I can attend on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, because most of my day on Dallas is, we'll make something happen.
Okay, do we want to move it? I mean, I don't mind moving it that Tuesday, is there
Well,
be a problem doing it on?
Yeah, Ms. Gilbert couldn't.
I have post-op blood work that day, or pre-op, excuse me. And then Thursday's surgery.
That's the reason the 29th was picked. It was kind of
Now, we could do it in the afternoon. I'll be in Huntsville that morning. We could do it after lunch on Tuesday. I could do that for that. I just couldn't do 10 a.m.
I've got meetings all day Tuesday and Thursday.
You know, really work. I've had that set for a month.
Right. I understand. Mr. Rich, you got anything on the budget issues you'd like to discuss?
I reckon everything's pretty well. I just hope we can get our budget under control, and I know we're going to make some cuts until we get things organized, but we're just going to do the best we can.
And,
What we can do.
I'll give us a folder between now and then to be looking through current numbers, anything like that,
Yeah, I'll make sure you
so
know.
we can make notes. We can email it out. Let me know and I can drop by and pick it up.
Okay. Mr. Sif?
Yes, I'd like to ask Jonathan, I know we've got the surrounding counties, it's, repaired roads, Marshall County, Madison County, and, can you give us a little update on when we got any time frame that we might get something started? I've had a few phone calls and want to know what our holdup was, and I said, well, we're just still trying to get all the guidelines fixed up, and we've hired some expert, to go in and give us more information, but that don't please them, so can you give me a little headway?
Sure, absolutely. So the FEMA projects, which would be all but 17, the flow chart that I gave you guys last week kind of lets you know where we're at in that process. We have a meeting scheduled this week on Thursday with FEMA, it's a initial damage assessment basically, where now that there's been a declaration, it's the formal compilation of our damages. We've sent preliminary, and that was discovered in the earlier meetings, but this will be that formal process that starts that. So we'll proceed down that flow chart, every one of those blocks after that, and there's a meeting the next week following that. Now, that's FEMA. The other is County Road 17, which is emergency relief through Federal Highway Administration. So the decision you guys made last week on authorizing to move forward with the geotechnical investigation that's required for us to solicit proposals for the repair, we had to evaluate or sign basically the paperwork to authorize them to start. That took place last week. So we look for them to be on site this week. That was what they were anticipating. The geophysical team is located in Chattanooga, so they were expecting a quick mobilization as soon as this week to start that process.
Okay, so they're going to hopefully get started this week.
That's the geotechnical work.
Bring
So
it back.
we have to have that information to solicit a repair proposal.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm trying to pass on, but when they see it on TV and it's right here around us, you know, their patience kind of wearing thin, and I understand. I said, we just got a lot of things to cross before we get there.
Right. Yeah, and to, I'll offer this, the repair work in Marshall County, that was from storm damage in 2015. So they're
Good.
just now making those repairs.
Okay. Thank you, John.
Could I add something to?
Yeah.
You know, part of our problem, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Campbell, but, you know, we've been saying for several years that we have a financial problem, and we don't have capital, and we laid out a lot of what-if scenarios, and we had this flood damage, and it turned out to be one of those what-if scenarios with $6.1 million worth of damage, and us not having any capital. So we're restricted to trying to do that work in-house because we don't have the money to put it out to bid to contractors unless we borrow some money and use our new revenue to 50% of it can go toward bond issue. So that's part of our problem. Part of the reason that we're not getting some of this stuff started immediately after the FEMA declaration is because in '94, I think it was the last time the gas tax was raised, we had 49 employees at Public Works, and we're down to what, 32 now? So we don't have as many boots on the ground as we did. We don't have capital to work with. So we're limiting our guys and our resources to this flood damage work. So we were already in regression. So our roads are going to get even worse because we're devoting all this time, energy, and what resources we have to try and fix this. So this ties in with, you know, budget issues that we're having. I just wanted to make clear that, you know, it's a money issue as much as it is anything.
Yes, sir. And the complexity of these damage, it's beyond, you know, simple slides. I mean, when they're looking at karst formations and possible sinks, and it's very specialized techniques to repair a lot of these possibilities. And before these specialized contractors feel comfortable with offering up a solution, they want details about what's going on there. And the unfortunate way is, you know, unfortunately it's expensive, and the only way to identify that are those complicated techniques that we're into now on some of this. So it's a lengthy process that takes a lot of time. I tried to explain that to you guys early on. It's, you know, even if we had all the money, I would probably still tell you it'd be years before we get things repaired. Now, if money was no object, obviously we could probably make things happen, you know, but these things are complicated, and it takes a methodical approach to identifying the problem, making sure that you have a plan that minimizes factors of safety in that repair, and then moving methodically through that. And to be honest with you, I foresee that with our budget situation, as Mr. Venable alluded to, I see that having to take place one slide at a time, honestly, because we have to be, unless we want to go out and try to do some financial solution on that. But the cash flow is going to enter into this equation. You know, once we have everything identified and we figure out a repair process, the cash flow is going to enter into this situation on being able to keep a contractor working while waiting on reimbursement. So there's a new process with FEMA. It sounds better, but there's a reimbursement and there's a wait time, so you have to spend it before you get it back.
Well, another thing too that I've tried to explain to them, you know, some of these slides have been ongoing issues. And I said, we're trying to find the most feasible way and get to this, how we can make it happen and be done where it's a repair that we want to go back to. So I said that having to hire these right here and pay out money that we don't have, like Jason just mentioned, but if we go in there and just try to fix it and it's not completely repaired in the right way, it's going to happen again. We'll be out there the same thing.
Yes, sir. I think that's a very valid point. We have an opportunity, honestly, right now, to make a permanent repair as FEMA codes it, and we will have funding reimbursement for that. So I think the last thing we want to do is you know, a knee-jerk reaction to make a repair that's not substantial and permanent. So I think you make a very good point on we have to be methodical about how these repairs are made and make sure we have everything identified and we have a permanent repair that hopefully we don't have to deal with at least these areas again.
One thing, asked everybody, keep in mind too, that FEMA's not gonna pay 100%, so the county is gonna be out dollars that we just don't have. So that's something to keep in your mind too as we go forward. That there is gonna be a pretty substantial cost to the county that we will have to pay out even after FEMA's reimbursement. Mr. Sid, we're still on budget issues. Do you have anything on the budget?
Oh, no, sir.
Ms. Gilbert?
Just want to see the file before we get started. That's possible.
Anyone else have anything on the budget?
I look forward to digging into the numbers this early. We normally don't start this early, but I think it's imperative that we do so this year. I was hopeful and optimistic that we would have some help through legislative delegation, but a local law has to be advertised for 4 weeks, and it wouldn't be possible to get a local law advertised and through Montgomery between now and the end of session. So we've got what we've got, and we're going to have to work with what we have. So hopefully, and I think it's true that some of our projected revenues came in a little above. So hopefully the cuts won't be as bad as we were thinking a couple of months ago, but that's one reason we start a little later, is because we can get a true picture of what our revenues were and make a more accurate projection for the following year. But I think it's good that we get started early.
All right. If nothing else, we'll go ahead and move on to reports from staff. Mr. Campbell, do you have anything else?
Just one item. County Road 59 paving is complete, so the curing period should end this week. So we'll look forward to striping being the only remaining item of work on that.
Okay. Mr. Porter?
Oh, no, thanks, sir.
Rocky, you got anything? Mr. Rich, do you have anything else?
Jonathan, did the company give you a time frame when they might be able to start the testing on the 17th?
They plan to be on site. They're hoping the geophysical team can mobilize this week, as soon as this week.
That's correct. Okay. That's all I've got.
Mr. Edwards?
No, I don't have anything to add.
Ms. Gilbert?
No, sir.
Mr. Seal?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? We're adjourned.